Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be a short reading. I didn't realize how late it was until I started filming. So, um, it's 2:33 right now. I usually film at specific times, so this is um a little later than when I would film, but um around the time. So I am wearing more winter wear. This is the Feel the Burn crop sweater. It's short sleeve and it's for um I use it when I wear my long skirts and I have a vest over it. I usually wear this with other things, but I like that I have it with this. Um it it'll be nice to continue to wear my winter wear, and I don't know how cool it's going to be when I make my drive to where I need to go out west. And I feel like I'm going to go to my storage unit before going west because my storage unit is south of me, which might be a little, um, well, it could be good because I'll go through maybe some of the southern states because of the weather. I don't mind um the cold weather. I love the cold weather, and I have slept in freezing temperatures, so I didn't mind that part of it, but maybe it would be good. And I was thinking maybe to go to my storage unit prior to actually making the extremely long drive, but um, and then I would pay for the gas to get back to this location. So I'm not sure, but I am going to start the reading. There might have been maybe like a conversation or situation where things might have been left as is or even left unsaid because I was eating earlier and I had like crumbs on my lips and I felt it. So it's like maybe it was intentional, or maybe there was something that just didn't need to continue with that conversation. It could have been like maybe it wasn't being received. Like if you could have said it like this way or that way, and it still wouldn't have been um a conversation or situation where it would go anywhere. That could also be with pathways too. Um, and like the one of the situations that I'm getting right now is as if like maybe you were cornered, and even like with a group, like an ant group of animals getting surrounded by other animals. And it's like I feel like the group may have known, or maybe one person may have known, that if they stay here, then, or if they try to oppose what's going on, then it'll just lead to worse results. And this could be like the matters of preparation for things. So, um, there might have been like the way that certain things were said, like even though there were like crumbs left or like certain things weren't said, I am getting that there, because like my ear was, it was feeling like it was ticklish. So it may have been listened to in a way where like it was deeper than what maybe the other person was trying to get from the conversation. Like maybe they were trying to like opt out of it, or maybe they were like intentionally or maybe unintentionally blinding themselves to it, because if they knew, then the reality sinks in, and then the way that their response is, it doesn't feel like I'm gonna start playing cards. Like they know how to handle that. It's like intentionally being blinded, because then if they had to face reality, then the fantasy that they had for this, it may not even been like a good fantasy, but like the reality that they portrayed to themselves and maybe to other people, it just crumbles. And it feels like there's a loss there. That could be also feeling like, well, now that this is the reality, now I actually have to stop living this dream. There is clarity too with things today, as if maybe there was a change in pace, and then there was like blindness that wasn't there anymore. There was like clarity that as far as like the Delulu visions weren't coming through as they used to be. Now it looks like um maybe it was this type of thing and it wasn't what that was. There is also built strength too. That's what I'm getting. Um, so just for background, just to say, I went to Catholic school most of my life until I graduated high school. So, um, for like the rites of exorcism, because there are different things that you receive in the church, some a lot more applicable than other ones. But just to say, as an example, that when we say certain things, it weakens the opposing side. And that would be one of the like what's the strongest prayer? And it can be more broadened if you're not a religious or spiritual person. But just to say what's like the strongest prayer that you know, and how well and how relentless can you be, and can you say that prayer in times of stress and times of trauma? Can you recite every word? And there's that fearlessness that comes out, and that's like that type of strength. And typically they say that Latin is a stronger form of the prayer, but what is important is that you can say these things without hesitation. And it can be like that truthfulness that comes out too, where you say these things and there's nothing that holds you back from it. Because there could be like a strong sense of self or a sense like you're not going to hold this back. And also with the clarity, it's like they say like the devil is like the is the biggest deceiver. Like he'll show you things and sometimes you wrap your head around it. Sometimes by the time you realize what's really going on, it's it might be time to change the act or like to move forward because that time has passed. Sometimes like they sorry time to time. Sometimes like they come back into fruition. Like there are moments where it can be the trials and the testimonies of it. Um, Typically, since I'm talking more on the religious side of it, um, testing the type of faith that we have. And there's a sense of not being told otherwise. Now, you could take that in different ways because it's always good for growth for certain things, and even on your religious or spiritual path. Um, but just to say that there is such a high value for something that it overrides or overcomes the things that you may want to have in your life, but it's there's not enough love for it because there's love for this instead. And I'm not saying that like if you're trying to teeter totter between people, I'm thinking more of like things that aren't really beneficial in your life, like things that are more of crutches. They're, as I said in the other video, and I'm not going to go as deep in for this video, but it's like what type of addiction or what type of illness that comes from it. And sometimes, like, not the illness um, is separate from what I'm going for, but how can we heal ourselves? Because it was interesting. I saw this short video, and it was this woman. Her husband did something really not good, and I think he went to jail for those actions. And so, with her children, it was like she was saying that their healing process really depends on you, like talking about the mother's perspective and how, and I was like really wanting to hear about how it depends on the mother. And she was saying that to show them what appropriate love is, or showing them how how life can really be, and um, that support that comes from the motherly figure, Um, it's interesting with the way that these cards are coming out. And I would just say ahead of time not to be alarmed because the words that I'm getting is that the sun is setting. And that's an interesting saying because it's like they say like the devil is stronger at night. They say that there's like an enhancement in the darkness type of situation. So you have the temperance, that's one of the clarifier cards. It's like something lights the darkness. There's like a lamp there. There's something that illuminates, and I kind of feel like it's coming from within. I did have one vision a while back when I was at my godmother's, and it was like there was this being, and then I was like in pure darkness, but I was sitting on the bed, but I wasn't because I don't really sleep with it's a different situation, but I don't sleep with the lights off. So I was given the vision, and there was a giant like orb of light, and it was like in me, as if it was like kind of growing. And before I was reading, I was seeing something that has been popping up here and there, and it was like sometimes I get visions of like gates or doorways, and for where they go, it depends. But this one specifically, it kind of reminded me of like, the Spanish Inquisition, one of the darkest times in religion, for Christian history, because apparently it has a lot of what they say is like the devil's working and the things that the church tries to conceal because it's not good, the things that have come out of it, um, or the things that have happened during the Spanish Inquisition. And because it felt like it was a door that should not be opened. And I did get this when I was journeying with the grandfather and grandmother figure, and then their daughter was traveling with us at some point, and we were trying to find orbs of light in these places where they say that they don't want God to be there. And one of these gates, it's like this giant gate. It kind of looks rusted. It kind of looks like historical in some way, but there's like a light emitting behind it, but it's like that it feels like it's a door that should not be opened. And there was energy prior when I was there where like it felt like there was a reaction because I feel like when I get these visions, it happens in different areas or different planes or what have you, where there was like a reaction when we were taking those pieces of light and trying to collect them. And it was like the building was shaking as if it was like erupting or something was reacting to it. And so we quickly got out of there, but then it just felt like the gate looked like it was trying to bulge. But this time the gate seemed like it was sustained. So I feel like that's a good thing. I would say that the beginning is the Ace of Wands. And I do feel like with these ridges, it looks like there's that type of movement for these types of creative planning. I say creative because there does seem to be some things that are in, sorry, like the planning is there, but not completely. So it's a little risky because you see, like, in the background, there's like places that look like where mountain goats would go. And it just seems like a place that is not like the playground to be at type of thing. But we're going on this journey. We're taking our wagon, we're packing up all our stuff because what we have here, it might be either there's not enough to go off of right now, so we have to build in a different way. That's kind of like the situation. And then it does seem like watching certain things, since it's the Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, it can be being careful of where we're putting our resources or where we're putting um, our studies or time and those types of effort to establish something in your life, because I'm not saying it's not a good outcome, but it seems like you don't want to spend everything at once and then realize that I should have actually saved it for this, or this actually happened, so now I'm not prepared for that. The obstacle is the Three of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. I do feel like there's a light here, and it does pay homage to the journey that's about to be taken, because it's the Ace of Wands, it's the beginning of the journey, and then you have the obstacles, the 10. So it's almost like you're trying to either skip a lot of steps or get to like that safe haven, that 10. I feel like it is kind of safe haven energy too, because these areas on the rocks and like trying to get the sustenance that you need, there just doesn't seem like uh it feels like a delicate flower, and we're trying to build up as much as we can, because it reminds me of like dandelion energy where it sucks out everything and then it's hard for other stuff to grow there. So it does feel like maybe you took as much as you could from here, but now there's like the life that moves forward. And it, like when I was doing that, I was kind of like doing that, like slowly moving my hand. So I don't know, it just feels like it's creepily moving forward, like slowly, as if we're kind of being aware of the upcoming things that could possibly be. And it's also, you have other flowers there. These aren't dandelions, but it does seem like we're to go to a place where more can thrive. So it could either you have other opportunities to do something, or it could be like that sense of community where there's enough to end the famine type of thing. And how to overcome the obstacle. There does feel like there's a waiting and anticipation there. So it could be others anticipating, but there's something that's away because there's already that home there, but then the Three of Wands waits for something. It's always something that it's something that arrives, and a lot of times you don't know when it's going to arrive. So, how to overcome the obstacle? You have the Three of Cups, you have another three and three, and then it's the High Priestess, Major Arcana. And then there's a lot of Major Arcana that comes in the end. So, with the High Priestess and the Three of Cups, I feel like there is already an anticipation. Like somebody already knows. Like there's an awareness, or people are given news about this, because the High Priestess, like, it's not like you can't tell this person anything, but this person is a person that, like, is aware of like the things that go around either around them or like they know like the latest thing about maybe the Three of Cups or like what's to come. This can be also oracle reading too type of energy or like tarot reading type of energy where that is um like a sense of foresight. So if we're thinking about that, that can be a sense of spirituality because the wands can represent spirituality too in a way. And that could be like that heightened sensory in that area. And the way that the chalice or the vase is decorated, it kind of reminds me of like the ships that have the decorative details on it. And it makes sense because with the Three of Wands, it's sometimes like, well, traditionally you see a ship and it's awaiting, like, maybe you just saw it leave, or maybe you're waiting for it to come back, or, but regardless, it, when the cups, or when the cup has it on each side, it kind of think makes me think like there's more than one stop there. Like there's multiple things to do. And then the overall energy is the Eight of Pentacles. So it's not like whatever this like thing that's waiting, that's being waited on, it's not like it's not being productive. So if you're waiting on a person or a person's waiting on you, it's not like you're just avoiding it. It's not like you're avoiding them. It feels like there's other things that are there that keep this person occupied. And this is something that's kind of an established energy. So it seems like maybe a person that's been doing this for a while that, um, and it feels like slow moving, but with Pentacle energy, it's slow moving. But what's nice about Pentacle energy is that it's a suit that it might be harder than other suits to like take away pentacles, like even if you do lose money, but it's solid, it's earth. It's like once you build it, it's harder to tear down. It's kind of more set in stone than other elements, as if it kind of takes its place every time you intentionally put a put a stone there, put a stone there, it builds it up. Kind of reminds me of like the Throne song and Bring Me the Horizon. I'm not trying to advertise my playlist. I mean, they're not my songs anyway, but I'm like, it's on my playlist. So in the past, you have the Ten of Swords. And I really feel like that's like family energy because you have the Tenka mask. I'm sorry about my accent, but because you would find them in like family homes, what I've read. And so it kind of reminds me of like the past linking to the obstacle because the Pentacle is like a family home where there's something that's already like built there. Um, Kind of reminds me of what happened for the past couple of days because I saw the Domo Boy again, and I'm like, I saw the being, and I was thinking, it's okay, you can go off now, you don't need to be here, type of thing, because I don't have a home for you. And then the Domo Boy was like, you always make sure that we have homes. And I'm like, and then I remembered that I bought fairy homes the other day because then I was like, they should always have a home. And I'm like, oh, well, if you want to stick around, of course. So that there's like a sense of loyalty that's there too. So, as I said, with this Pentacles, stability, and I feel like a part of that foundation is the loyalty that's there, blood or not. Um, because the future, you have the Devil card, and as I said, don't be alarmed. And I pulled out other cards for it to see But I feel like it's linked to the Eight of Pentacles too, and the Three of Wands with the obstacle of the Ten of Pentacles. So I think that it's a good sign because the light is coming through. Because I'm just thinking, like, if you had like a haunted house or something and light just hits it differently, like the light just feels different and the energy just feels different. But I feel like it's nice, even though it is an obstacle position, that light is there and to be careful where you get the light from and where you think the light is coming from. Because sometimes that deception is there where you think that this is like the pure good light and then it turns out to be falsified by something that tries to make it seem like it's something when it's not. And again, with a sense of loyalty, I feel like that's important too. And knowing with the high priestess, like I feel like the devil and the high priestess kind of go like at it in a way. So the other cards to go with the devil card are the death and the well, first the Four of Wands came out, and then the death with the Temperance card. And I thought that was interesting because the Four of Wands is something that feels like it's a good thing. And I feel like in reality, not with the devil card necessarily, but with you or this other person or people, that it's still keeping that flag up. It's not like you're taking it away because that's that foundation, that's that strength that was built on, and that's something that it's not, it's relentlessly going at it because in those moments where they try to manipulate or deceive, um, falsify, take away, we rely on those strengths and more, and we continue to develop it because we know this is a core of who we are. So I feel like there's good intentions with that too, because the Temperance also major arcana, so the devil, the um high priestess of death and temperance, these came up together, the death and temperance. It almost feels like Valhalla type of thing where you have the Valkyrie and then um they carry those who have fought on and died on the battlefield into the hall of the gods if you um go along with the lore, if you believe it or not. So it is something to, like they say, when you die in war, it's heroic, but when you survive from a war, it's complex because of everything that you've been through. And then you live on. And then there's the moments where maybe asking what was the purpose for surviving this. And we continue on that journey and we grow and we find more answers. And then we ask more questions. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful. I'll see you in another reading.